Hello and welcome to Walker Tea Review. I'm Jason Walker, here to taste the teas of the world, but not just that the classic, the original teas of the world, as in those that don't have any kind of the teas that show the work of nature and the work of people in drawing out the best of what nature has. And so it's not a lot of there's no added ingredients. This is the skill of the tea masters, the tea craftsmen, draw out the best from what it comes from the earth. Scooped out enough here to cover the bottom, say inch and a half diameter of my bottom area of my gaiwan here. Water's been brought to an early boil, a low rumble. Adding enough water. I want a little bit of water rest right above the rim of my lid here on my 3-ounce gaiwan. That looks good. Let me get this out of the way, kettle out of the way. Talk about this tea and introduce it. This is from Teamania. Teamania is based in Thailand. This is their OolongBeautyQueen. You can get 200 grams for $20, 20 US dollars, 80 cents. It is from the Doi Mae Salong region, which is a mountain at the extreme, some of the northernmost parts of Thailand, in the Chiang Rai province. This is a 2012 harvest, and so I'm going to go ahead and explore this tea, talk about the dry leaf, the wet leaf, and the liquor, to kind of get the full experience here. So I've got a sample size. I'm going to be able to kind of give this a sniff here. Some sweet notes here. It's almost kind of gentle bready, gingerbread snaps kind of comes to mind. It's a little bit of a light baked, light toasty kind of note there. Got some sweetness there too as well. So it's still in that gingerbread kind of sweetness, fresh baked gingerbread, going over towards a bit of the English laurel, a floral shrub type of smell going on here. Sweet, warm, like I said, lightly baked, lightly toasty aspects there. Scooping out a few of these leaves, I should do that. And having a look here, these are not bright green. This is not one of your most lightly oxidized oolongs. This is more in a light reddish brown type stage. You do have some moving over towards a very deep dark green. I said again, moving over towards more of a toasty reddish brown type of note. Balled or rolled fairly tightly, fairly compact here. I'm going to guess that some of these are maybe one leaf, others maybe a leaf and a bud, maybe two leaves and a bud, because you can still see some stem, so that stem was originally there to hold two or more leaves together. All right, so I'm going to return that here and get ready to pour it now. Angle my lid over to the side. With a more Taiwanese style of production, for a tea, I try to use the Chinese style of steeping method. So I've got my gaiwan, my index finger holding the lid there in place. And if you're holding well, and if you've practiced, and if you haven't let your gaiwan get too hot, the rim is slightly warm, but certainly not too hot. Okay. Even though you consider that I, of course, filled enough water to rest above the rim of the lid, that heat hasn't transferred out to the edge. If it has, what has come out to the edge, of course, has radiated and cooled some too. So setting the liquor to the side there. Give that a shake because I want those leaves to kind of settle down a little bit. Nice, sweet, a little bit more of the roasties coming out. Roasty notes are coming out. So it's a bit more on down the line towards honey roasted peanut. It's got some of the sweetness there. I had some sesame cashew the other day, so it's got the toasted sesame with the nutty. Those kind of combinations are present here. So it's again sweet, nutty, toasty elements combined. Still, maybe in some of the English laurel to a smaller degree, but a nice, sweet, pleasant smelling tea. We pull out a few of these leaves, and when I'm looking down in here, I'm seeing some variation. I'm seeing, for example, some leaves like this that are quite rust blotchy, brownish, reddish brown. It happened to be connected here to, if I can gently tease this open. That hasn't fully unfurled, so I'm not going to force it. 3 leaves here. I don't see a bud there. Maybe the bud broke off. That's 3 leaves together on that one. Let's pull out. There are some greener ones here, like this one, for example, which has some kind of blotchy redness along parts of it, but not as much as that other leaf I pulled out, fished out there. Individual leaf, kind of fairly ragged, and again, more oxidation, not to the extent of that first leaf. Let me pull out something just a little bit greener if I can, like this one. Again, it hasn't fully unfurled yet. Would need to. I can tease this apart. The other thing I'm noticing is these leaves. Some of these leaves are quite large. Like that second leaf I pulled out, maybe 2.5 inches, around that size. This one here, 1.5, 2 inches, around that. So you've got some large leaves, fairly delicate. They're not just thick, tough, leathery. So I'm going to set those aside. Get down to my liquor here. Swirl that around so we can look through the picture to see that nice amber, almost over towards more of a rust reddish type of bright orange red color there. Okay. Give it a pour now. Smell. Some of those toasty notes still coming out. More roasted fruit element. I mean, the first thing that hit was almost like a roasty peach type of aspect. Okay. Looking down in the cup, it looks like it's kind of toned down a bit. Looking at this angle. Let me give it a taste and see what happens. First hitting my mouth, I'm detecting some kind of dancong elements, some roasty yet peachy type elements here. So it's got a bit of a tart, a tangy, sweet, fruit tanginess to it. Texture is light. It's fairly brief, but it is a gentle kind of powdery type sensation. Still, those same kind of tart, dancong, peachy aspects are the main flavor aroma component. In the back, in the aftertaste, I get a little bit. I get some of the honey roasted peanut type notes. So nutty, roasty, sweet aspects there. But again, it drops off fairly quickly. The texture fades, falls off fairly abruptly. Astringency, only in the extent that it may relate to that tart kind of feeling and the tangy kind of sensation in the taste. Bitterness is minor. Let me give this another shot here. As this tea, especially as oolongs can cool, as they cool, they can fluctuate quite a bit, and some of these profile elements of texture, of just tastes as well. Not a significant fluctuation there compared to the previous sips. Aftertaste may be holding out just a bit longer than that in those first couple of sips. So looking at this tea, it's got some interesting components to it. If you are a drinker of Dansong or find kind of components of Dansongs that you enjoy, there's some of those to be noted, or something very similar in this tea. But the texture, the aromas here, they're falling off faster than what I would expect, what I would hope for, what I often see in higher scoring teas. So when I looked at this one, because of that, score is going to be a little bit lower. I'm going to have to put this one down towards 80, I'm going to say 85. It's going to be about that. So, interesting teas coming out of Thailand. I would expect these teas are going to improve in quality as mastery improves, as the tea plants can become more established, as farming practices may improve in the areas as well. So come back to Walker Tea Review, see how teas are grown, and see what that story can tell for you and how to appreciate it.